Hello everyone, my name is Tom and it's an honor to welcome you to this special session, City Image and City Branding. So in the rapidly evolving landscape of urban development, effective city branding is more crucial than ever. This session offers a unique opportunity for local authorities, industry professionals, experts, and students to explore cutting-edge approaches and engage with leading minds in the field. Whether you're looking to influence policy, drive industry innovation, or enhance your academic knowledge, this session may be for you. Now I would like to introduce to you Dr. Tu Anh Trick. She is the Director of Institute of Smart City and Management, College of Technology and Design, UEH University, and she also our chair of the session today. So Dr. Tu Anh has worked on local and international projects as a specialist and team leader in sustainability, smart cities, urban and transportation planning, traffic safety, transport economics, aviation operation, and city branding. She's recognized for her academic excellence during her tenure, as evidenced by her numerous publications in prestigious journal and proceedings for academic and press conference. So I would like to invite Dr. Tu Anh here to chair our session today.
Thank you so much, Tom. So hello, everybody. Big loud. Thank you so much for coming. So today, you also can see our topic. We are talking about the city image and city branding. So we also have the three exciting panelists when sharing about their perspective about how to contribute for the city image and city branding from the very different perspective. We have the Professor Philippa. She also got the her PhD in the science of the art, right? And also the professor of the University of Saint Joseph. And more focused on the interactive art. We also have the Professor Dong Su Lee. He also from the Korea, but now he also UHR. He also the vice dean of School of Media Design. He had the very rich experience on the marketing, on the industry, but now he will contribute to see how he also can contribute for the city image. We also have the Miss Hạnh An, also very long time work with the marketing on education on industry, and now she also share with you one of the aspects to contribute from the city branding, not from the industry, not from the commercial life perspective, from the very technical things that how also can show the urban issue and make it become of the city branding. So you also can see that it's quite dynamic and diverse from the sharing by today. So for that a special session, we really want to bring all of you to contribute and to think. City branding is not only for the local authority. City branding is not only for the industry and not only for the academia or the other. We need to do and something special, and we also can make our city different one from the other city. And in the end of the day, we also want to live in the livable city where we also can feel happy, healthily, and so on. So now I will give the first floor will be Professor Philippa, right? So he will sharing the first presentation about the visual identity pattern and texture in the city of the Macau. So give the big clap for her. Yeah.
Hi. Good afternoon. Welcome. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I do in my research as well as with my students. And so I have also one of my students here from Macau. She's also going to present her work tomorrow, also is a continuation of my work. So I am going to look at the visual identity of a city in a different way, actually. I have been a designer and an art professor and theorist for a long time, but I think that one of the things that I also like to do is a lot of different experimentations with different technologies. And so for that, I started to do this research project that has been quite challenging. And so this is the second year that I'm doing this project in Macau. As you know, Professor Alvaro mentioned before about Macau. And Macau is quite small, but it has a long history of heritage, Portuguese and Chinese heritage. And so because I have been a local citizen of Macau since I was 10, so that means a bit time ago. And so I have been there for quite some time. And one of the things that I noticed is that Macau right now has tons of casinos, but heritage-wise is duty raising. So actually we are losing a lot of things. And so I wanted to solve a bit this problem. So I started this research project, which this research project has been having funding for the past 3 years. And so right now I'm in session 3.0 of this project, which has been funded by the Macau government. And so this started as a fun thing to test it. And then actually I already have a few papers and a book chapter also published on this. And so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to explain to you. So basically we started as visual identity, and we call it because we see visual identity as a different thing. We don't look at it and we have a logo and that's it, right? So because not branding. So we talk a little bit about other types of identity. So in this presentation, I will talk a little bit about methodologies and how to preserve also the visual identity in Macau. And so let's start first. So as you know, we come from a Catholic university. And so one of the things that we are is also to be more involved in the preservation of Catholic churches in Macau. And so I saw that in Macau, this is actually not really good. And we have a lot of churches that are actually falling and not painted whatsoever. And they are part of heritage of Macau and UNESCO. And so I started this with my student to do a background research of infrastructures related with religious connotations. So we started with temples and churches. Because I didn't want only to do churches, I started also to have this connotation between Western, so Chinese and Portuguese as well. So that's why I actually do temples and churches. And so as you can see, the churches are quite damaged. And so this was a starting point for our research. So we started to do photography first and start to understand what were the architectural things that we had that were common in all the churches and also all common in temples as well. So we started to do this research. And one of the things that we found out is that not only the churches are a bit damaged, but also the pavements. So we started to also take photos of the pavements. So one of the things that we have in Macau is a lot of patterns on which is heritage from Portuguese culture as well, not only Chinese. And so we started to have this cultural fusion and cultural legacy. And so we wanted to preserve this that is being destroyed as well, because they actually are changing the pavements to totally different pavements now. So and so we are losing these patterns that actually we have in Macau. And so first we started to do normal photography with an iPhone. Then we started to do other types of photography, aerial photography, 360 photography. And we found out that there's a lot of stuff that is being destroyed. So let's do an archive. And so we started to grab some specific places and choose specific places around Macau. And then we started to take photos, not only inside, but also outside, right? So this is, for example, the ceiling of our seminary church. And so we started to do a lot of this work. Some of this work I have presented before to some of the students, but I have updated the information. So I wanted also these students to look at it. So we have seen that we have a lot of patterns, a lot of textures. So we started to look at this type of visual identity in Macau. And so we focus mainly on heritage buildings and buildings that are losing their character because of time. And so we started a lot of things. So this is our seminary campus. So this is our first campus, actually. Okay. And so we worked outside and inside the church. And so we have a lot of patterns and textures around the building, but also around the area, the urban area. And so that's what we try to capture as well. And so in our research, we focus on mapping. Okay. So we have created a digital mapping. We focus on preservation and documentation. So we have been to all Macau libraries. So I have 2 students that have been around Macau collecting data, and some of them is only in Chinese. So I have to use a lot of translation as well. So because I'm getting this to put in Portuguese, Chinese, and English. And so we had to get that data. Role of textures. So we have started also, I have another design student working on the role of textures in the city and patterns. We also talked with the community. So every time we go and take photos, we talk about and we want to know about the environment as well. So we have also that data. And then identity and visual culture, which is something that we are trying to do, is create this database of a lot of textures and patterns that can be used by others. So I will explain a bit more about what we have. So my theoretical framework is a bit, when I started, it was a bit crazy, I can tell you, because it's a lot of information for only 1 year funding. So I started to do, and most of the people didn't understand what I was doing. And I can tell you that I had even professors telling me, oh my God, this is not going to work. But actually, right now that I have already 3 years on this, and we actually started our archive. We took photos of all the infrastructures, so religious infrastructures right now. We have very good photography, but also we have converted all this photography to vector. We can do vector automatically, as you know, but we actually have a guideline for the vectors that we need, okay? And so we create not only textures, and we change the colors. So we use the colors that we have, of course, but we also create patterns. And that's what I'm going to show you. And we have many different phases. So we look about patterns, textures, signage, technology, creativity, and culture. So these are some of the keywords we use in our research. And we do a lot of data observation and data analysis. So I'm going to explain here for you what we actually do. So this is a photo, and this is actually the vectorized thing, but it's not an automatic vector. We actually have to do it by hand because we only want a specific place of the pattern, so then we can actually create a whole full, let's say, carpet with this type of thing. And so we are trying to do this and creating this database for all our design and architecture students to use. And so this is what we started with. And so we are doing this with walls. We are doing this with a lot of different places. So this is a pattern of the floor of a church. We also have 360 photography, like I mentioned. And one of the things that we started right now to do with another professor that is also involved in our research is 360 of all the infrastructures, which we didn't have before, which helps you a lot to find the points that you want to create in texture and pattern. So we are also doing this, and so we are collaborating with another professor to do this part as well, because she does a 360 design. She also creates these in 3D. So this is what we are doing. And so we try to focus on, of course, historical analysis. We have a lot of data on this. We have a lot of databases of text and documents. And then we also have different types of photography, and we create different types of textures and patterns. So this is one of the churches that we also use, which is the one I mentioned in the beginning. So this is a very deteriorated church that we have there. And so we are trying to also create 360, 3D modeling. And so then we create a library with all this data that can be used by students. So this takes a lot of time. And so we started creating a digital map through Google first, where we actually added the textures and the patterns instead of the location, right? Oh, this is this infrastructure. This is this church. No, we find things by patterns. So this specific type of pattern, this specific type of texture. And so that's what we have, and we are doing this already. So I have a few students doing the mapping, and we have various different types of mapping. As you can also see, we have a digital archive not only of digital visual things, but we also have tons of lists, right, and data about the background of each specific infrastructure, and then each specific pattern and texture. So we also have, so I want to, sorry, too fast. So we are also doing some research on other types of specific buildings. So for example, this is a church inside the cemetery. So I have a student specifically working on this, and she's doing AR, and I'm going to show you just in a moment. But we are creating these archives full of data. And so we have started these archives. As you can see, these are some of the infrastructure churches that we have. And right now we have collected a lot of photos, but we have 23 infrastructures of churches, photography in 360, drones. So we have a lot of different things. And we have also 23 temples. So we have already created this database, and we already have created all the vectors for most of the churches, not all. And we are still doing the development of the temples. So this is actually our chapel inside our campus, okay? And I'm going to show you this again so you can see what we do. So this is actually a database from my student Hazel. These are the old maps of Macau. And so I requested Hazel to go and take photos of this so she can use on her dissertation, but also I can present here to you what she's doing. So this is old Macau. They are very, very damaged. So we actually have high resolution photos. So we can actually replicate this also in our project. So they are very damaged. And so we try to Photoshop it and make sure that we fill in the blanks that we don't have on this map. So we created the digital mapping for our own observation. So I had a student creating this in AutoCAD, and we then went locally to observe. We have the map also in Google Maps. So we have various different types of maps. We have this only to know where things are. So only a preview of what we are doing. We have created this huge database, as you can see, with different things. For every different church. So you can see this is a lot of details. We have done field work, data collection, archives, guidelines, design frameworks, observations, historical descriptions, and 3 master dissertations, a book chapter, and a few papers. So I'm going to show you again. So this is one of our guidelines. Okay. So this is our chapel. In Macau, in our campus. And so we try to create visual elements of our churches. This has been done before, but not the way we have been doing it. And so that's why I'm going to show you as well physical elements of these digital elements. So you can see what you can do, not only digital, but physically. Okay. So cannot, okay. So this is actually our cross in the front of our campus. This is the pattern of the gardens. This is what we can do with the textures. So we create different models. We have various. this is also what we are testing. So we are creating 3D things. So basically, we are creating a database where our students can use the textures and the patterns around Macau, mainly focused on religious databases for now, but we want to increase to have more things as well. And so this is what we focus on. So we have packaging, but we also have 3D modeling for specific things. This is actually a prototype that the student actually created them in paper. So this is a planification of a strategy that I created with the student, where we have, and I showed this before to Mr. Yan and to all the team. So we created this planification, which you can't really read now because this is actually quite huge, but it has textures, shapes, patterns, 3Ds, vectors. It has planification of wood, and it has a different, also with genes. So we also use genes to do this. So I will show you as well. So this is a lot of work because we actually have to 3D model all these things if we are going to use 3D, but we don't use only 3D. We also use laser cut. So we also have this type of thing. So we actually are creating this digital and physical library so the students can know what they can do, okay? And so then we give access to the students, since this is, my goal is to have this open to all our USJ students and hopefully to the community. So I now have a student preparing all these files in 3D. He already started doing some stuff. So these are some of the things we tested, now work well. So we also try to see if we can emphasize and implement this in fashion design. So this is something that we also created. And actually this is the pattern of our university campus floor. And so that's what we wanted to show you. So we have created tons of guidelines. So we have many different types of guidelines and how to use it, how to cut the specific photography. So we have done this. We have created a lot of textures, and then we can change the colors and everything like normal vectors, but then we can then print them in different fabrics. I have a student that also focused on tiles, Portuguese tiles before Hazel, that created Portuguese tiles based on our textures. And she also created an AR application for signage, because this is also one of the things that we are trying to preserve is Portuguese and Chinese signage, which we don't have. They are being destroyed. And so my student focused on this, and she explained also the story behind each of the signages in Macau. What do they mean? And so she has little animations when you turn the mobile phone and you see the AR animation explaining what this is. She also used some of the data from our research in her paper, and she had a paper published in Artec last year, 2023, November. Hazel here also is taking some of the information and some of the data related to our embroidery of Portuguese styles. And Hazel is doing a very cool thing that she's going to explain tomorrow in her presentation, where she also uses AR. So we try to combine different types of technologies. Okay, so in order to preserve Macau's patterns and textures. And all this always has a little bit of historical side of it between Portuguese and Chinese. So I have another student that is doing this work for the cemetery. She's doing AR, and she's also creating this AR experience based on the textures, patterns, and what each thing means in the cemetery. So she's also taking this data, 360. We had another student also working on patterns and textures, but more related to VR experiences, also a paper there. And this is what we are doing right now. So we are doing augmented reality with the textures and patterns around Macau. Hazel has already tested in the embroidery, but I have been testing it for real. So we are doing this testing. All this work that we have done and that we are doing is to provide the students with possibilities, different possibilities, because sometimes you can find a lot of these textures and patterns online, right? But they are not related to your visual identity around the city and around the city scapes. So that's why we try to do this database full of this information. One day I'll try to have this in AI also, so we can actually do the vectorization much faster. This is connected, of course, with SDGs, and is also connected with digital heritage and digital preservation. So we have been doing this because we noticed that Macau is losing their identity. Okay, and so that's what we try to preserve. And through all these things that I just talked, we have now a book chapter coming out based on this research. Hazel is coming here to present also her work. We have two other students that also presented this. So we try to have a lot of students working on this. And we have me, and then we have a few students, all students working on this, and 2 or 3 professors that are our advisors and consultants. And now, to end, I would like to show you what we have done so you can touch also the things that we have done, because we do digital and tangible products. So that's what I want to finish with. Thank you. Thank you. So I will show you now. Yeah. They are actually huge, these panels. These are some of the examples I can show you, can see around. This is only one specific infrastructure, religious infrastructure, which is our chapel. And so I have created this with the students in different types of materials to test and also to see how it can work with augmented reality. And the student tomorrow, she's going to explain how to do it. So these are some of the things we are doing. These are the tests. We have also created the 3Ds and laser cuts, so I can give you, so you all can see. You can give it to the students. So we are creating a digital library, but also a physical library of what you can do, and all in tiles formats. Yes. So I give you some for you to check. So that's it.
Thank you so much, Philippa, for your very interesting work from your team. So I think it's really inspires, right? Because that you are thinking Macau lost the identity, but actually in Vietnam we have a lot of the city. We think that we have no identity because that we quite have the similar characteristic with the other city. So we really don't know which is our identity. So we also work on that, and we're struggling on that one. So I think on the way to find the unique pattern, I think the Philippa and her team work also can give us the different way of the approach when we also can collect different type from the normal life and also from the facade, from everything, and also when you have the enough data base and you have the using the technique, the technology on that one, you also can find what is the unique and also what is the telling and make the new story for the city or keep the heritage for the city. Thank you so much, Professor Philippa. So I think now big hand. So now we will move to the second presentation from the Professor Dong Su Lee. I think it's also quite interesting that what the work also do with some of the students. We discussed about the color and centers for the identity. So how we also collect the data, collect the color, and also can try to make and some analysis to promote and to finding the city branding for the city. Okay, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. It's very good to stand here and make a speech. All right. So now you see me with a flower, right? With flower, with pink color, without the pink, without the flower, So it's different, right? Today I'm going to talk about the color, how the color affect the city image. It's like me with pink, without pink. Okay? Which one is better? I mean, you must tell me. With, without. How about this? See, I mean, small thing affects a lot, right? So that's quite interesting. I've been working for advertising and marketing industry for more than 30 years. And I was here in Vietnam 22 years ago, even some of you, even before you're born, okay? So I can clearly remember how, the Ho Chi Minh City was in 22 years ago, okay? There was no building, the tallest building was the Carabel Hotel. You know the Hotel Carabel? Kaksan Carabel, right? Yeah, and then, exactly. And then there is another tower called Sunwa Tower. Exactly, yeah. So how old are you now? See, so you don't remember, right? But now, whole face and whole image of city is different. And then one day I found a interesting article or paper about color of the Ho Chi Minh City. They say, I found there's a noise out. It says color of Ho Chi Minh City is red. But to me, it is not red. So the reality and perception is really different, What's the image color of Saigon in your head? Anyone can tell me? What's the color of the Saigon? Rainbow. Okay. Gray. You must read my paper, right? Okay. Yeah. And then how about you? The color of the Saigon, Ho Chi Minh City. You never thought about it, right? Where are you from? Yeah. So when you think about Ho Chi Minh City, what kind of color you can? Pink. Oh my God. Okay. Okay, let me start. So that's quite interesting. That's why we start to small research. We start to do small research. Okay. I know. So, okay. Hey, all letters are gone. So there are many. There are many. Oh my God. Somebody eat up. Okay, the point is, this slide actually is for, city image or city brand image. There are many elements, that affect. Okay. Sorry about this. I mean, we lost all the letters. Again. So there are many elements. Let me read it. On the far left hand is unique city identity. The next one is brand positioning. Of course, this green one is very important, is brand name and visual identity. And the other one is stakeholder engagement and brand communication and experience and services and monitoring evaluation. But the key to, when we focus on was this area. What affect visual identity? I believe in that's the color. And also there are many studies, many researches about the colors of the cities. And here, so the color of a city can play an important role for shaping, its image. Okay. And for the city branding and marketing and design, they also can use of the colors. And colors can also be used to convey here different emotions and moods that affects people who live in there and people who visit. All right. So there are many studies. Okay, that's what I found. So all the papers, it's about studying the color of the cities. Okay. Here again. So some studies suggest the color plays an important role in shaping perception of cities and their brands, and the cities should carefully consider the use of color in their visual identities. This is kind of interesting because when I ask what is the color of the Saigon, and then some says rainbow, some says gray, some says pink, right? So which means, in a way, it's the color, image of the color in Saigon is relatively blah, okay? So many studies, okay? So here, sorry, I only got like 10 minutes left, right? We quickly. So we do the research on the color of the city, Ho Chi Minh. So this is we found that this is interesting. 80% of the city color plate is gray, which is quite different, right? That's our findings. How we found? Because this was the questions. What are the dominant color palette and the distribution across the diverse districts because we have many quan, right? We have many districts. So each district has their own specific color patterns we expect, but actually no. Exclude, District 1. District 1 is slightly colorful because we have many commercial things, but the rest, residential areas and industrial areas, are very gray. And then how the color palette of Ho Chi Minh City reflect the city's functional zone and distinctive local. So that's why we analyze all different colors of each district. This research is ongoing. Now, this is how we use Google Images, and we also this is the thing. We found the keyword for the image, and we also adding on the image of the city, and then we do the analyze. So it's like a adjective vocabulary plus a color image of the city. And then while we're doing, we found that, hey, it's too gray. Maybe some effects. It's like the sky is gray. So that's why you get rid of. So we manually, delete the sky, but still blue, still gray. And there are some people is like crying and, like, look, this is not gray, Ho Chi Minh is not gray. So we do it. So that's the, without sky, this is very gray. And there's some is so angry, how come, Saigon becomes so gray? So maybe because of the road. So we delete the road as well. And it's still gray with a little bit of, sky. And then we kill all the road. And then we can get a small portion of the other colors, but dominantly 80%, over 80% is gray. See? So that's why we reached the conclusion. It's like, hey, 80%, over 80% of palette dominated by range of gray shade anyway. And that affects people. That affects, the visiting intention of the tourist as well. See? So and then we divide by the area. There's a center area, residential area, industrial area. Quite similar, right? So, sorry, this is gray actually. Industrial area. So, including industrial area, you know, most of the, as I said, over 80% of the color palette is gray. So, yes, we have to accept it, but I know in a sense, you know, that suggests maybe rapid urbanization and extensive use of those materials in its architect. Yes. But at the same time, we need to worry about physical or psychological effect. Okay. It's a neutrality and practicality, but at the same time, it could be dullness or depression. So we need to think about it. Actually, the color, overall color of the city affects people's, right? So, I mean, while we're doing this, we've been discussing, hey, you know, after this research, we have to suggest, we have to, you know, advise to the government to do something, you know, because some cities have very specific colors, very vibrant colors. Okay, that's a very significant, right? So, of course, it's you know, in a good way of interpretation, it's like challenging of balancing economic growth, but we also need to think about, you know, environmental and cultural preservation as well. Unfortunately, there is no gray in Vietnam palette. I couldn't find. So it's still gray, you know, in this area too. So this research will keep on going on. We're trying to extend to some tourist spot, whether, I mean, other than Saigon, maybe in Da Nang or the other city have a different color palette, and they may work as a good, you know, element for attracting people. So we will keep on doing it. But this is the research, you know, what we are doing on now. Thank you. Sorry, I mean, it's like that. Ho Chi Minh is gray.
Tony, then I think, yeah, Ho Chi Minh City is so great, maybe because of a lot of industrial development and so on. And also maybe we also give the question maybe of the data collection, because we just collect only one of the aspect from the picture on that one. So maybe we will extend our project to see that the thing that we are finding here that is really correct or not. It's going to be similar like the Philippines that we also still continuous for the project and research. So I think we can move to the last one, and also hope that it's also very quick, that we have more time for discussion. It's a very young lady that you also can see here, Ms. Hạnh An. She is a very professional on the marketing and also worked quite long time in the industry before she back to work on the marketing in our university. So now she also doing her PhD in Harvard University, something mixing between the city marketing, city branding with the road safety. Okay, so let's give her the floor.
Thank you, Professor Tuan. Yeah, and thank you for your really interesting topic, because it gives the technical aspect for city branding. So this is my turn to share my topic. This is my doctoral topic, research topic about integrated city branding to show urban sustainable challenge. And the reason we start with this approach, it comes from the city planner right now. You may know that the city planner address urban problem that change over time and stage of the urban development, and which challenge the quality of life for the urban resident. And that's why we have various comprehensive city approach to link to the ongoing city problem. For example, we have city, smart city, livable city, green city, or low carbon city. And in city branding, we can call this city identity or city image. Why I call this? Because we we approach from the problem of city planning right now, because the process to achieve this kind of comprehensive city face many challenges. And we found that there are 5 challenges. The first is to achieve the comprehensive urban life. That is really difficult. The second is gaining the citizen consent in the planning process is challenging, even though they are the final beneficiaries. And also the urban planning project solution often address some like short-term urban problem. So, and it's really hard to achieve the stakeholder engagement, and the urban resource is limited. So that's come for us to go to our approach that we should apply in an integrated city branding framework. Because for us, when we research, we see that by using the integrated city branding framework, we can solve the urban problem, at the same time strengthen urban identity and increase urban competitiveness in terms of the limited resource. Why? It's because the city branding framework can help us have a new approach in these 4 points. The first is help to address the urban problem with a long-term perspective. Because in city branding, we have the term city identity and city in mind that Philippa or the Prof. Yi have just mentioned to you. And the second is by apply city branding framework, we can begin with the pains and the gain of the citizen inside, and that's the point that we get the community engagement. And the third is the city branding have to solve the urban problem from multidisciplinary and integrated perspective. It's not just about the color, it's not just about the pattern, it's about everything integrated together to build the city identity, from tangible, the other important factor like economic, culture, histories, and social factors such as. And finally, communication strategy as the communication method that help the government can communicate with the other target audience like the resident or the stakeholder. That's why we propose the integrated city branding framework. And you may know that this approach also help to fix the challenge for the city marketer right now, because you may know that most of the city marketer in the city right now, they just think that city branding merely a means of communication, and they just focus about the logo, the slogan, or the communication campaigns. And sometimes the city branding come after the city planner project concluded. So this is our approach. We try to propose the integrated city branding framework to deal with the urban status, the urban problem. And our research methodologies come from the narrative review, and we try to examine existing city branding framework and try to find some common and also some different points, and try to integrate it, become the integrated city branding framework. So you can see here we have the framework with 5 phases. The first phase, that's the identity, the specialized units. That's either the organization or the unit that they have the main responsibility to lead and implement this city branding. And then they need to recognize the urban challenge by environment assessment like competitor analysis, audience insights, or urban status. And then based on this input information, they can develop a realistic strategy for urban development. And it needs to a closed loop like this. With this step, the first is vision, mission of the city, and then that's the objective. And based on this, the brand can propose their vision and their identity. And And through the integrated implementation platform like action plan, policy, organizational structure, they can build a brand image. So you can see here, we propose the city identity, and through a lot of action, we get the brand image in the mind of the target audience. So what is the integrated implementation platform? In our research, we mentioned that if we want to achieve the city identity that we want to propose, we propose for the city, it needs to a lot of efforts of multidisciplinary session. It not come from a spatial planning. It not just come from the spatial planning, but it needs to come from the economic planning, the social planning, and then communication strategy do their duty to tell the story. So now I give you a case study, a practical case. That's in Tokyo. This is on the data I use that input to analyze this case. For during 20 years ago, Tokyo want to achieve the image that all miss new. This means that they want to deliver the traditional experience and futuristic thrill at the same time. So what did they do? So when compared to our integrated framework, you can see that they come from the urban issue. So what were their urban issue? At that time, they have to face with the issue that they want to preserve the cultural heritage. At the same time, in the face of rapid development. And at the same time, they also have to face other sustainable urban issues, for example, population density, urban sprawl, transportation congestion, such as. And what did they do? They proposed the brand vision and city identity like old meets new. That means they offer both traditional experience and also futuristic thrills. And they try to deliver fun by constant generation. This means they embrace the city dynamics and ability to continuously surprise. And they try to diversify aspects based on Japanese culture. And the target audience they define here is in the romantic, that's in the young adults, family, senior. And in international market, they define that's tourists, business traveler, investor, and also international talent is their target audience. And they also focus some specific group like sustainability concert individual, and also art and cultural enthusiasts, and also foodies. And what did they do? I tried to apply what did they do into our integrated platform. So what did they do for that? Here, you see that to achieve the city identity that they want, old mid news, they not just focus on the spatial planning project, they focus on other factors. For example, in the governance policy, they try to deliver the policy that urban development policy preserve historical district, at the same time facilitate modern development. And in spatial planning project, they together to try to deliver the urban identity here. You can see, for example, landscape. In the landscape, they try to plan mix up traditional Japanese garden with contemporary urban parks. Or, for example, for the building, the iconic building, they try to deliver the sky shot with the ancient template and also the future giant, like, for example, Tokyo Skytree. Yeah, and mobility, environment, they also have some action, but they together they try to effort to achieve the city identity that's old mid new. So they also have the economic planning. At the same time, they try to deliver the traditional industry, for example, food and beverage, textile and fashion, craft and printing, but they try to develop modern industry like electronic, robotic, aerospace, autonomous, such as. And also the social planning, they try to deliver about the mind of preservation, at the same time innovation. old meet new, right? And also the lifestyle, they try to deliver the work-life balance, efficient and convenience, diversify of experience. And now it comes to the communication strategy. They use the story to tell what they effort to achieve the city identity. Yeah, you see the Tokyo brand concept. They try to give the khuôn Japan initiative. That's the communication campaign that try to deliver the music, the culture, the history of Japan in the view of khuôn, mood, and talk for the young generation. So this is our finding about the integrated city branding approach that focus on the multidisciplinary section need to effort to deliver the city identity. And our next study is about the building the city identity to deal with the urban problem of Ho Chi Minh City. That is the more friendly walkability, the safer children walk. And what did they do? We try to apply this integrated approach to deal with this problem. You may know that Ho Chi Minh City have some like rapid motorization, active travel mode at decline, severe traffic congestion, and also we have the highest number of children traffic accident and fatality, especially while they walking. So that come up us to go to this brand vision to deal with this problem. That we try to build a children-friendly walkability city at an identity. And this is our target audience. And why we choose children? Because children is the second largest population group in Ho Chi Minh City. And at the same time, we have their parents. And we try to find a lot of information to have the input that we can give the integrated implementing platform for the city governance. And what did we do? We review the theory. We do the bottom-up survey with the children and parents to explore their walking experience and safety in Ho Chi Minh City. And also we try to do the field evaluation, try to evaluate walkability in the walking area of the children and also the parents. And also we conduct the focus group with the city experts on the city walking in the city. And we review the case of children-friendly walking city around the world. And based on this input information, we try to deliver this integrated implementing platform. That's all about my topic, my doctoral topic, and it's going to come out with some paper and book chapter for the near future. So I hope that I contribute a new approach for you about city branding, and hope to have your comment about this topic. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. An, for your sharing. So I think from the An presentation, you also can see the perspective of the more methodology complete with the urban planning, urban marketing, and also the city branding. Try to make some of the comprehensive to show the urban issue. So I think now we also can give the floor to discuss with one of our panelists here, because we quite run out of the schedule, so we have the 20 minutes for the discussing. So okay, so Dr. Nam also want to raising the first question, so welcome.
So good afternoon, everyone. Nam, lecturer at ISCM. In brief, thanks for the three wonderful presentation this afternoon. I'm very impressed with all of three presentations. So I'm trying to come up one question for each presenter. Maybe Professor Martin, right? If I say your name correctly. In the very beginning, you just emphasize on the problem that initiated the research study. You mentioned that because the the church or the heritage building in Macau face significant deterioration, right? So actually, my research topic is about deterioration and maintenance of the building, more on the mathematical way. So when I see this one, it's quite a lot of things to comprehend and then internalize, because unlike the great infrastructure like bridge or building like this, we can like standardize or easily map all the deterioration into the model. But when it comes to the heritage building like yours, it's quite challenging, right? So, and then one of the question is that when you do all of that graphical representation, right, all the color, the question is that at when we should do intervene, because actually look at the church in Ho Chi Minh City, right? I personally, I don't know when actually they are doing intervene, because if you do intervene earlier, too much money. But if you do intervene too late, it's already too late, right? So somewhere in between. So would it be possible you can share some thought, because you are in that particular field?
Okay, thank you very much for your question. When I actually started this project, as I mentioned before, and I will explain again, I had some colleagues say that I was totally insane because they say that it's too much work, first of all. Second of all, they didn't understand what I was doing and why. And so for me to have actually an opportunity to have the university approve my research was actually quite cool. And I said, okay, now they approve, now I have to do it. It's not easy. And so Professor Alvaro on this actually said, okay, let's get her to go ahead on this research so she can try to do something. And so I said, okay, let's do it. My problem is that I have been living in Macau for a long time. And I know these buildings since I was very young. And I have been seeing that they are being totally destroyed, not only by time, but also by people, right? Many people destroy our heritage buildings. So they like to go and see our heritage buildings, but then they destroy them, right? And so sometimes the government is doing something related to that when it comes to certain buildings, but religious buildings is a little bit different because they are also connected to our Catholic Church or the temples, for example, that are also related to the different type of target audience, right? So this is something that has to be approved by the government, approved by the church, and then we can actually do something. And so what I started to say is that, well, I come from digital world, so let's do something in the digital world. So then we can actually show how we can preserve it. And so instead of them going there and painting all the buildings, I said, okay, they are not going to do that, but I'm going to do that in digital. And so that's what I did.
Wow.
And so instead of having it the other way around, I did it, okay, let's try. And I actually started with very little money. These Macau Foundation funds are quite little, okay? So you don't need a lot of money. You need to know exactly what you want to do and who is going to do it with you. And so I think that my student here, she will talk to you a little bit. She will show you some stuff. But when you want to start something, you don't need a lot of money. You need an idea. And you need to understand the problem. What is exactly the problem? If the government is not doing anything, how can I solve this in my own way? And so that's what I started to. And I think that I have shown that with these three projects, right, that are all correlated together, that I started to do this preservation digitally, okay? Because one day we will not have buildings, right? But we may stay with some of our digital archives, right? So
Yeah, so
that's
I think it's thanks. I think it's a very important, onset of doing the proper maintenance and operation work in the future. And then you may also combine with, for example, digital twins to visualize everything. But
Yes,
thanks.
yes.
So I would like to move to
Thank
the next question to Tony. Right?
Sorry, yeah.
Concentrate.
Yeah. So it's rather a comment than actually the question itself. Because when you ask the question, actually I kind of trying to understand what you are going to say next. So the reason why I answer it is the rainbow color. One of the reasons is that your study is focused more on the infrastructure or the picture, like digital sort of thing. But in my opinion, actually, when we define the color of a city, it also need to link with the people. For example, when I see the very long, pretty long, beautiful dress of Tuang, I thought, oh, maybe it's the rainbow color. I just pick it up. But actually, it's more than that because rooted in the Vietnamese culture. I mean, everyone, like young student here, bring the book. It's called The Vietnamese Culture. The Saigon and Hanoi is very different, but in Saigon it's more exotic, right? So truly, if you understand the Vietnamese culture, is the exotic is there. So exotic is mean that it's a mix of so many color. So actually using one or two color is not possible to describe the city itself. So that is what I believe. But maybe the 7 colors of the rainbow maybe not enough to describe the beauty of the city.
Yeah, but that's what is in your head. But in reality, it's quite different because we pull out the way we pull out the image of the Ho Chi Minh City from the Google. We also use that adjective as well. So we try not to have the photo at night. Try not to have the, a lot of. So we have. I mean, I don't have enough time to go through this, but we carefully select the photo images of the photo images from the Google, and then we just analyze it. I mean, without putting any how to call that, prejudice. Then we get this. So I mean, the point is, I mean that I mean, as I interpret that, it's a part of the industrialization, but at the same time, those gray color may affect people psychologically to people's life. So, I mean, there is a good, finding, I guess, and that's why we try to extend that research to the other areas as well. Maybe we could extend research to I mean, it's very difficult to reach those data, but I mean, the people who visited Ho Chi Minh City, so we may do some research with them, and then we also can analyze. So in their head, maybe they have some different images of Ho Chi Minh City, but I presume that it might be the color of the District 1, because they don't normally. I mean, the visitors are always staying around in the District 1. They don't go to the other residential areas, something like that. So. So that's why the other step that we are planning to do is we try to extend to the some touristy spot like Da Nang or Nha Trang. So maybe they have some specific colors. So then we can have whole map of the color.
Yeah. So you look at the color in the not only the physical lens, but trying to connect with the how the citizen psychologically. Influence along the timeline. But maybe I misunderstood a bit because I used to visit many, like in India, they have a different city, and clearly when you see one of the city is one color. You can see what at one time. You go to Hoi An, you see that color, obviously. So those kind of cities, they have its own color, defined, rooted there. But many other cities, they don't have that. One of the link to the last presenter. Because she did study about Tokyo. I live in Japan for many years. And actually, the color of Tokyo or the color of the city in Japan in general is very gray. Even the clothes they wear is very gray, right? So somehow it's actually psychological and so impact the Japanese as well, right? So you are right. So thanks on that. So maybe I move to the last one. So I have to move to another section. I am a chair.
I nominate and
So just very simple thing because you are doing a PhD and then you pick up one of the case study about Tokyo, like old meet new, right? If I remember correctly, old meet new, right? So you're doing a case study in Ho Chi Minh City. Would it be possible? Maybe you cannot answer from now. Would it be possible that you can come up with a certain very short, kind of branding that style, like charming Vietnam or whatever, for the Ho Chi Minh City? That is a challenge for you. So it's not the question. It's just a more comment.
Actually, now they call vibrant Ho Chi Minh City, right? Many people say that about the vibrance of the Ho Chi Minh City. But for me, I use this integrated framework to deal with the issue. So I try to put this issue in terms of the city identity. That's why I call this the friendly walkability city instead of like omit new or something like that. So that's it. That's like it depends on our objective of the city branding. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much. So I think time is nearly gone. We may have the 5 more minutes. So any question want to come up or asking about our panelists? No. Very silent. Okay. Come up with our new generation. Video is yours.
Yeah, so I want to introduce myself. My name is Phạm Khắc Quý. I'm currently also at IICM. I want to ask Professor Donggi, right? You? Yeah. So sorry, I forgot your name. About the colors and how it affect the city branding. What I observed very greatly is that in many Arabic countries, especially the UAE, in Arab Saudi Arabia, I think the main color is white, right? Not only white at their construction building on their house, but also white in their clothes. So how does all the external factors like weathers or their cultures is just really impact them to choose that only color like that? And how if we could just apply in the case like in Ho Chi Minh City, like if we could use that external factors, like when when it is too hot, too cold, we constantly choose one color to just like to identify us as a city, like the case in many Arabic countries. Thank you.
So that's why when we pick the images from Google, we try to delete all the something like the color of the dress as well. We also remove that. That can be like a changeable, right? And then so we try to get rid of all those variables. But maybe you're right. I mean, in certain and also we try not to focusing on a specific period as well, because some period people wear the red whatever, right? So I mean we try to find more how to call the objective colors. So but I mean maybe you're right, so if I mean if somebody who's also interested in, maybe you can do or we can do together, like go outside and take a picture in certain period of time, and then like a kind of time lapse, and then we can analyze those picture again, right? Yeah, then maybe we can, but definitely I mean, this research is not 100%, completely true. So yeah, but okay, end.
The project, not you.
Yeah. So project is going on. Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So I think it's the interesting thing here by today for the research that the three panelists are sharing. It's not the complete research or complete project. It's an ongoing project and research that we try to share some of the idea and the different perspective that how we also can contribute from our field, our position to the city image and city branding from the different way of the thinking that people also think about the city image and branding, from the technical, from the arts, interactive, and also from some data analysis and so on. So I hope that with that, all of your research project can go in the end, and also have some of the good results that we also can have maybe next 2 years. We also can complete with some new methodology, and here everybody also warmly welcome back on the RTD 2026, right? So thank you so much for coming and sharing and listening. So big hand for our three panelists. And now I think we just want to have the small gift for our three panelists. So I would like to invite Professor Thuy Anh, Director of the College of Technology Design, will deliver the gift to our wonderful panelists. Please come. Come. Mày đứng vào đi. Okay, you can keep it. Yeah. Everybody is saying. Okay, can I stand? So thank you so much. And the special section is the end. So someone had another meeting. We also can follow up with the schedule. And I just want to remind that the dinner will be the 12B floor for the invited guests. And see you. Thank you so much.